What will it take to create a world with gender equity, racial justice, and safety for all?
Thank you all for joining us to our second annual Prevention Summit.
Today was about masculinity, but it was also about the intersections of race and gender.
You can't talk about gender justice without talking about racial justice.
Talking about these issues is really hard.
You can't talk about sexuality without talking about various sexual identities, homophobia and transphobia.
But when we're at our edges of a little discomfort, that's when growth happens.
More people are talking about it more easily. It's very hopeful.
People are feeling empowered to come forward.
What changes behavior is a relationship and someone to come along and say, hey man, this is not the kind of man you want to be.
And every time someone else comes forward and has a positive experience with it, it's just going to empower someone else to come forward.
And there are more men who are actually speaking out too, and that's a good thing, and we need more of that.
We're not going to solve this epidemic if the men are not going to see themselves as part of the solution.
And we brought students here today just to open their minds.
Telling people not to abuse women won't end abuse overnight. You have to break down the whole gender binary that we have.
And when you see kind of the light bulb go off, you know, it makes you feel good about what you're trying to accomplish.
A call of action to reshape the culture of masculinity has been issued by Jane Doe Inc.
Especially coming from Africa. If you're a man, what does it mean?
Masculinity is a social construct that can change so that the world can be a better place for both men and women to live.
Don't be afraid to challenge people when their language or expectations don't meet the expectations that you think are going to contribute to a healthy environment.
As an educator, I'm hoping that the folks in different agencies here are able to connect with each other and share resources.
The main thing that I took away from this is really engaging in conversations with my own sons.
And seeing folks from all over the state is really heartening.
Sexual and domestic violence are public health issues.
I felt like people were really willing to talk about the complicated stuff and not oversimplify.
They cause long-term chronic health problems, and they cause problems within families and communities.
I really appreciate the workshops and kind of talking through it with people, getting different views and perspectives.
There's just so much of it that I can bring back to my community, to my high school.
I think it was great, very informative and well needed, especially in our time.
The workshops were just really inspiring. It's good to have a conversation, and I hope it continues.
It was a good way to know a lot of the work that is happening.
You know, transgender rights are at stake here in Massachusetts.
And I think it takes a radical imagination, us imagining beyond what we're used to thinking about, that we can actually transform.
And our values have to be of conviction and not of convenience.
And another world is possible.
All right, don't get Peter all riled up now. Okay.
This is an opportunity for them to learn more and go back into their communities and apply what they've learned.
I'm looking forward to bringing this message back to my campus and to the other people that I interact with.
There's some padding on the back, nice. Do you all want to demonstrate the A-frame?
Sure.
Boom, right? Boom. Nothing in this area gets too close, right?
Conferences like this are crucial to moving the ball forward and advancing gender relations.
The conversations that happened today were heartening, inspiring, and very thought-provoking.
Inviting someone to join you is very powerful. And I hope you think about inviting someone to join you tomorrow.
We have to believe that the world as we know it can and will change.